How much do we really know about the human brain and its capabilities? This 3-pound mass of grey and white matter sitting at the center of all human activity, you could call it the ultimate control center. But as we dive into the depths of the human mind, we discover it's far more than a simple command center. Let's take a step back to the year 1997. The New York Times published an article that left many readers astounded. The article was about a study conducted by Johns Hopkins University, where they examined the effects of hemispherectomies, procedures that involve the removal of half the brain, in young epileptics. What they found was nothing short of remarkable. Despite the removal of one hemisphere, the children's intellect seemed either unchanged or improved. Yes, you heard it right. Improved. It's as if the brain said, "Oh, you need me to work with less? No problem, I've got this." But the marvel doesn't stop there. The researchers were awed by the apparent retention of memory and the preservation of the child's personality and sense of humor. The children were still themselves, still held their unique identities. One might think that losing half a brain would change a person, but these children proved otherwise. Even more astonishingly, some children improved academically once their seizures stopped. These findings challenged the materialistic belief that a person is no more than his brain. What if I told you that sometimes having half a brain can be better than a whole one? Let's dive into the paradox of hemispherectomy, a surgical procedure that involves the removal of one hemisphere of the brain. This is a treatment often used to alleviate severe forms of epilepsy in children. Now you might be thinking, doesn't removing half the brain drastically impact cognitive abilities? Surprisingly, the answer is often no. In a 2007 article titled, "Strange but True, When Half a Brain is Better Than a Whole One," it was reported that memory and personality often develop normally post-surgery. Even more astonishing, academic improvements were observed in many children once their seizures stopped. Let's consider some captivating examples. There was one child who, after undergoing a hemispherectomy, became the champion bowler of her class. Another child, having also undergone the procedure, emerged as the chess champion of his state. The resilience and adaptability of these young minds are truly astounding. The children who underwent hemispherectomies didn't just continue their lives as before, many of them thrived. They excelled academically, pursued their passions, and led lives as fulfilling as those of their peers, if not more so. These stories challenge common assumptions about the brain and intellect. They strongly suggest that we are not just our brains as in commonly believed in neuroscience. So, what does this mean for our understanding of the mind-brain problem? These findings strongly suggest that the immaterial mind is not reducible to the physical structure of the brain. They suggest that our intellect and consciousness are not products of our brain's anatomy, as is commonly assumed in mainstream neuroscience. Can you imagine living a normal life with only half a brain? Let's dive into this incredible phenomenon. In the spring of 2015, a student named Del Peral, despite having only half a brain, was set to graduate from Curry College. Astonishingly, she had made the dean's list every semester since her freshman year. You might be wondering, how is this possible? Moving forward to a 2017 review, we find even more remarkable instances of people who, despite extreme cerebral conditions, lead normal and even exceptional lives. This study highlights several cases of individuals with extreme hydrocephalus, a condition where the cranium is filled with more than 90% cerebrospinal fluid, leaving virtually no room for the brain. Among these cases, we find a mathematics student with a staggering global IQ of 130 and a verbal IQ of 140. Another woman with an extreme degree of hydrocephalus shows virtually no cerebral mantle, yet she boasts an IQ of 118. A 5-year-old girl, a 7-year-old boy, and even a young adult, all with gross hydrocephalus, have IQs ranging from 123 to 144. These individuals are not just surviving, they're thriving, leading normal lives, excelling in academics, and even pursuing advanced degrees. It's almost as if their brains are defying the laws of biology, functioning well beyond what their physical structures would suggest. These cases push the boundaries of our understanding, forcing us to rethink what we thought we knew about the brain and its function. What role does the soul play in our abilities and consciousness? This question takes us to the fascinating case of Katie. As shared by neurosurgeon Michael Egnor in 2018, born with just 1/3 of a normal brain, Katie didn't just survive, she thrived, She excelled in every stage of her life, her intellect and will seemingly untouched by her physical condition. This brings us to the concept of personhood, the unique identity and consciousness we each possess. It's part of what philosophers refer to as the hard problem of consciousness, the question of how it is possible for our personal subjective experience to arise from physical processes. As David Chalmers has beautifully illustrated, traditional materialism is at a complete loss to explain the hard problem of consciousness. Cases like Katie's offer vivid examples of why the hard problem of consciousness will remain forever beyond any possible materialistic explanation. How can a person remain whole and retain their unique identity, despite missing large portions of their brain? Could it be that we are not just our brains but our souls? As Michael Egnor concluded in his 2018 article titled Science and the Soul, there is a part of Katie that didn't show up on those CAT scans when she was born. Katie, like you and me, has a soul. The stories of these individuals who excelled despite missing large portions of their brains reiterate the miraculous nature of mind-brain recovery, directly challenging our materialistic understanding of the brain and leaving us pondering the mysterious relationship between the human brain and the human soul.